Alright, what's going on, guys? It is Ranger Flame, and welcome everyone to a new Boruto Naruto Next Generations episode. We're on 48 today, and with this episode, it kind of started off of, the Byakugan game, the arc is finally over, and it's a week after the events right here. And this episode here today focuses on Team 5, which is Iwabe, Metal Lee, Denki, and I believe Udon is the name. I totally forgot about this character, and he was actually part of Konohamaru's group back, in Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. He was always the guy that had a runny nose all the time. He was kind of like that glasses, I guess, nerd, you could put it, if that's like a good description of him. So totally forgot about his character, but I'm glad because, in this episode we definitely do get some throwback to Naruto on this, which is pretty awesome. But mainly focusing on the episode here is their group, because a couple episodes back when they were doing the Byakugan mission, their kind of mission was if they saw them, contact a Chunnin or a Jonin for help, and knowing them, they kind of wanted to prove themselves, and Metal Lee got hurt in the process, and after they got a suspension, and in this episode their suspension is off, and they kind of want to try to prove themselves, and also to get in the Chunnin exams mark, because like right now they're saying that they are not going to be participating in the Chunnin exam. So their kind of goal is to do these missions and to actually compete in the Chunnin exams, and that's kind of what it's like right here. I feel like it was kind of a Wabe kind of episode right here. It was really focusing on him a lot, because knowing him, he was always the repeater, and after Boruto and the rest of the gang, he finally became a genin, and now he's like kind of repeating process here yet again, because in his mind he feels like he is failing a lot, and in this it kind of brings his team and to actually make the Chunnin exam. This episode they kind of get a mission where they have to do a documentary of genin. It's kind of showing younger audiences of what you do to become a ninja. So I like looking in this episode, I kind of found it funny because documentary and videos and kind of like this is kind of like what our generation is right now. It's kind of weird because Naruto and Naruto Shippuden didn't really have this stuff, and kind of me as a kid, technology wasn't really big as it is, or like documentaries or anything like that. And now going into this generation, I just kind of found it funny just because I feel like Boruto is relating to what society is right now, which I don't know, it's pretty funny and cool if you look at it, but I feel like that's kind of what they were targeting in this episode, was that. So they're helping these guys, the kind of movie makers in this group, to do this film project and everything like that. And it's not just Metal Lee. Metal Lee was always that kind of guy that, he is a good ninja, but if people are looking at him, or he's like, or if a camera's on him or anything like that, he will get shy. It's not just him. Iwabe and Denki were, scared about this as well. Like, they're camera shy and everything. And they're doing this mission back and forth right here, and they weren't doing such a good job. The film producer guy or the director was, telling Udon that these guys aren't really good. They're not really qualified to do this. Why did I even hire them in the first place? It gets to the point where literally they had no chance whatsoever. They had to do this mission and kind of prove themselves as ninja and to participate in the Chunnin exam. But usually, like in episodes like this, there's always a turnaround each time. Before I go more into the episode, it was actually pretty cool of what Udon said in this. He was asking, it was kind of that cool thing. We kind of get this cool thread of, Boruto is always wanting to like look cool. Like, we get that in the Boruto movie as well, that when he puts on his father's jacket, he doesn't look cool. And I don't know, it's kind of like a trend in this series that no matter what, look cool or not, if you're dedicated to become a ninja, that is all that matters, which that's what Udon and Naruto say in this episode to them. That Udon kind of explains, the story of that. Like, he was a loser and look where he is now. And we see actually clips of him trying to do like the clone jutsu back in the day in Naruto. And we see old Naruto again, from the previous, which is really cool. We see old Konohamaru in that. It was really good to see flashbacks of that, just because it's like, hey, I kind of remember those moments. It's kind of bringing back, a lot of memories to me. I'm really glad they kind of, had that segment in this Boruto episode. It really made me smile, and it's just like, damn, like, we're this far already. I remember that back, like, I don't know, like a year, 2 years, or however long you watch Naruto. But for me, that definitely was a throwback, and I'm kind of glad that they put that in there. With the turnarounds, though, in this episode, the camera people, being stupid as they are, they decided to put paper bombs all over this kind of skyscraping building, and they figured, try to get like a cool explosion shot. The building starts collapsing on them because they're kind of idiots, and then we see, of course, Team 5 come to save them, which is awesome. And kind of before I go more into that, I kind of forgot to say this, is that we see a different side of Metal Lee this episode, which I really find intriguing. He's always that kind of shy guy, but we know him as a really good ninja. And knowing, Iwabe, he was at that part, of giving up. He didn't want to kind of become a ninja. You know, everyone's always doubting him and etc. And when he was about to throw his headband in the river, I like to see this kind of darker or serious side of Metal Lee. You know, it kind of reminded me of Rock Lee a little bit, just because, you know, this is what Rock Lee would actually say. And it's just kind of cool of Metal Lee, you know, protecting the Leaf badge right there. He's like, if you throw this away, you're just giving up. Don't do that. And they kind of start getting a fight. But I really love that side of Metal Lee. You know, he really takes, you know, the headband seriously. And I feel like every ninja should do that. You know, it's an honor to get this. You're representing your village. Don't just throw this away and give up. You have potential. So I really like Metal Lee's character, you know, in that part. I feel like he was right to go to Iwabe. You know, Iwabe is always that guy that gets pissed off all the time. But it's really good, you know, for Metal and his, you know, character to do that. You know, I give props to him. And back to the skyscraper part of, you know, the stupid film producers like blowing it up, literally, you know, Metal and them come to all save them. And it's just really cool of them, you know, kind of showing them what ninja really are, you know, them protecting one another. And it's a really weird part in this anime. You know, we kind of see what Udon actually is as a Jonin, and it's snot jutsu. That's what he uses. It's like snot jutsu, and he forms it as a tree. He stops like all those rocks and that are collapsing on them, and he kind of turns it into this tree, which is a pretty cool thing. It's like, wow, that's pretty strong snot right there. I don't know. It's because usually when we look back at Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, his character, he always has like snot coming down his nose, and it's like, ew, like what the hell is that? But yeah, so this is what we get to look like older Udon. So I don't know, his character's pretty good. We haven't seen him a lot. Like, he was kind of a really side character back in the Naruto and Naruto Shippuden days, but it's still pretty cool, you know, learning new characters and learning what their abilities and what they could do. So it's pretty cool of what his character is, and I definitely want to see more of him in the future. After that, you know, the filmmakers are run about, you know, Denki's group and everything like that. They want them to hire and make this documentary all over again. He sees them of having potential, and he kind of understands of why the Hokage put them in this mission. They complete this kind of documentary thing that we see at the very end right here, them talking to Naruto, and I kind of like Denki's, you know, kind of reaction to what Naruto says to him, because, you know, he really does look up to Naruto. Like, he was always asking Boruto about that in the academy, that his father's a Hokage. He's a really great man, and knowing Boruto now, he doesn't really like his father, and that, which we see him, Sarada, and Mitsuki, you know, watch the documentary at Thunderburger, I'm pretty sure it's called, and then that's the episode right there. But we definitely do get a funny moment here, which is actually really the truth. If you've been watching Naruto for quite a while, you know, Naruto was still a genin throughout all this time. He was still a genin when he was fighting, you know, the ninja war, like when he fought Kaguya. Like, he was still a genin because he didn't do all the paperwork. He didn't become a Junin or a Jonin or whatever. So it's a really funny part right there, because it's actually the truth. It's like, did he actually complete the papers? Because when we found out in the last episode of Naruto, you know, Shippuden, it was him, you know, trying to become the Hokage. You know, it's not just, you know, ninja work and doing the war. You have to like do the paperwork and your work and everything like that, which we didn't really get to see. So it's like, consider, did he do that or not? Or like, hey, you know, this guy saved all our lives during the war, let's just let him become Hokage. So I don't know, it was pretty funny right there. It definitely was, I feel like, one of the hilarious moments, you know, in Boruto that we got. So it ended off pretty awesome. This episode though, you know, it's weird, you know, I kind of finally enjoy it. You know, it's good, you know, seeing the other cast instead of Boruto, because, you know, I do like Metal Lee. You know, Denki is alright so far, and Iwabe, I feel like I want to learn more about Iwabe's character, just because I feel like he's different from what he is, and I feel like he's going to become a different character in the Boruto series, and I want to watch them as well, because like I said when I talked about my review last week, I do believe about them. In Metal Lee, you know, in the movie, we've seen him in, you know, the Boruto movie of them competing in the Chunnin exams, but we didn't get introduced into Denki or Iwabe during that segment or when the movie came out. So it's going to be interesting of what they're actually going to do in the behind the scenes of the Chunnin exams, because we know, like, in the movie or whatever, they didn't pass like until like the capture the flag moment. If you guys know what I'm talking about, kind of spoilers for the movie right here, I do apologize, but I don't know, I just want to learn more about the characters, and it's glad that we got it. Talking about new characters, next week's preview, I'll just talk about this in this review right here. It's really focusing on the girls group. I don't really remember the girls' names. The only character I remember, because I just watched the episode, is Wasabi, and she's kind of has like that cat jutsu ability that she has. So it's going to be their episode, and maybe them kind of trying to compete for the Chunnin exams, because I feel like it's not just the Iwabe's group, it's theirs as well to prove themselves and to go into the Chunnin exam. So that's going to be episode 49. And then episode 50, I'm pretty sure is going to be the Chunnin exam. Like, that's where it's going to begin, which I definitely do see. This episode, though, that we just watched today, do you consider it filler? I kind of feel like it is filler. I don't know. It's hard to describe it as filler because it's kind of like going to the story a little bit of them actually trying to compete in the Chunnin exam, because the Chunnin exam is kind of the story of Boruto. But knowing series like this, they do have filler. So I feel like it's half story, half filler if you look at it. But in today's episode here today, you know, it was an alright episode. I kind of liked it, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, which I feel like is a good pace for this episode. But though, majority, I want to just see the Chunnin exam already. Like, I kind of just want to get to that part already, because I know like that's where the badass moments are going to come into Boruto. And I'm hoping that we get a new opening as well. I was expecting a new opening this episode just because we're going into the Chunnin exams, and literally every time I watch the opening, I'm like, that was like 25 or 26 episodes ago. Like, are you gonna change it already? But I feel like they're gonna change it during the 50 episode. That kind of makes sense. Like 50 episodes there, they're gonna have a new opening and maybe a new ending. I'm not too sure, but I hope you guys enjoyed my Boruto review here today. Thank you guys all for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought, and much love, guys, and we'll see you next week for another Boruto review.